Well, we almost have a completely blank slate to do a new porch rebuild on. And I picked this up a couple of years ago for $500 on Facebook Marketplace. And it came with these railing posts attached to it. And I was going to put the railings back on it, but I didn't really like the look of the 2x4 railings, so I've left it. Until today, when Muzata reached out to me and said, hey, we got some beautiful railings, railing systems, wire railings, interior railings, you know, would you like to do a video with us and let's collaborate on something? Do you have something you want some railings on? I was like, bing. So I picked out a railing system, took some measurements, sent those into them. They sent me back the proofs of it. We checked it against what we have here, and we need to remove these old wooden posts and put in a couple new boards to cover up where the cutouts were for those. Then we throw some paint on. Then our blank slate can have the new railings installed. I went with the railings with the wire between them. I thought that looks really sleek. Big 2x4 railings with 2x4 braces and all these things. It just kind of like, it makes everything feel smaller. Whereas this makes it feel open. The whole space is gonna change. Oh, that was kind of close, right by those nails. Ay. I always do this, good screws. These are like some star-bitted deck screw of some sort. They got like coating on them. Take them apart. They cost a lot, but some piece of junk sheetrock screw, you try to pull it back out, it breaks off, it's a big mess. These could use them 100 times over. Now that we got our paint job done and our deck repaired and leveled up a little bit, and Jonathan did a little lattice for us. Hopefully the propane guys don't say anything. I asked them before, like they're like, oh, as long as it doesn't cover it. So they can walk right up and just open this up, and there's a prop stick and everything, and open these up and fill them. It's kind of super obvious that it's covering something. But Sparrow had a good idea. If we plant some peas around it and they grow into it, it'll be a double shade, and we'll have peas to eat at the same time. And it'll look pretty. Now we gotta unpack our new railings and install them. Oh wow, these are really clear. I like this so far. Like,
oh yeah, it looks pretty simple.
Like the
pictures and then the words.
Yeah, and the adjustable top post for the railing and red marker. Simple. Nice sharp looking black. I don't know how they do that. Anodizing or something like that causes it to turn black like that. Okay, nice little snippers. That would be nice to have those around because I don't have nice wire snippers. And there is a tool of some sort. Must be a crimper for the wires, so when we get it to where it's supposed to be, we can crimp it. Ha! I forgot. There's lighting inside of these.
First step, fairly simple. I pre-drilled the holes so I don't blow my deck all apart when I drive these lags in. And then you back off the lags a little bit, drive some wedges in, and tighten it down until it's plumb.
First one took a little bit of work with some wedges. One down. How many to go? 6 to go. Yeehaw.
The outer lags go straight down into the deck frame. Just be sure not to over tighten them and strip them out. The inner lags will either need to be replaced with bolts that you purchase or put some blocking underneath the deck and drive them down into that so it's secure. This is your foundation. You want to make sure it's good and strong.
When you drive these things in sometimes, I find it so much easier to rub them on some wax first. They sink in quicker. So don't lose stuff when they send it to you, because we were ready to get this thing underway and we lost the LEDs that they had sent to go in the rails. We had to go to Walmart. Plan here is we gotta do this miter in the corner. And just in case it doesn't go perfectly first cut, I'm gonna leave this end long on both pieces and check it, because like I've said before, this is an old porch, and so the squareness of all this, not real. No, it's not really a thing. It never probably was. And so this miter is gonna have to be kind of custom. Most people would use a proper tool that would measure the difference and then, you know, make it. I'm just gonna cut it at 45 and see if they match up, and if they don't, then I'm gonna custom cut it again until they do fit perfectly. Once we get this 45 cut, we should be good to go. And then we can get to grilling and enjoying the porch, right? These are really, really hot and burning my fingers right now because of the sun.
This is probably the biggest tool need for the project is the chop saw. You could do it with a skill saw, but you'd have a hard time getting really tight joints. I have just a general wood cutting saw blade. That's all you're gonna need for the aluminum. The more toothy it is, the finer and easier your cuts are gonna be. So I'm just gonna take it really slow, clamp it on here, and my other biggest recommendation is putting some painter's tape on the fences of the chop saw to protect the railings from getting scratched while you're doing this. I did my best to keep my workspace really clean, but I did get 1 or 2 small scratches in the railing.
Not the cleanest of cuts, but it would be much better to have a more toothy saw for aluminum. Definitely recommend that. We'll see. I think we did pretty good. Clamping it might have been the trick. If we hadn't clamped it for sure, it would have been a lot messier. Gotcha. All right. Yeah, it's a little tiny bit at the bottom, but I think I could fix that with just a little bit of the old sander. There we go. There. Now we got to put the tops on. Yeah, there we go. That's how we do it here. Keep going, Noah. I'm just like, that feels so good. It's. Woo! I feel like I gotta invent something, you know, like I seen like one of those things that they
cooling jacket.
They have fans that go on your belt and you clip your shirt into it and it puffs up your shirt and it cools you off. So learning something else as we're going along here, I've noticed a couple of times we've already scuffed up some of our new paint. Like you really got to keep on top of keeping your space clean. Like anytime he was doing it already, they have a broom over there. Any little shavings as you're drilling up into the rails, because this is a DIY thing, it doesn't come. It's not like cut perfectly length. You got to cut it. So anytime you're drilling all these parts and pieces, as soon as you do it, clean it up. Don't walk around on it if you don't want your deck all scuffed up.
We kind of breezed through some of these later steps without a lot of explanation because there really isn't much need for it. The instructions show what to do. My biggest recommendation during these steps is to have your own high quality cobalt drill bit, because the ones they sent along didn't work so well, and it makes a huge difference on how smooth this process will go for you.
Looks good. Let's install it. Ah, it's upside down. That looks pretty good, huh? Yeah. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you'd almost think we knew what we were doing. There we go. And we could theoretically lay it on top and do this all upside down, but this, being that it's a smaller railing, is much easier this way. If you're amateur, you could totally do the corners, even if it seems scary to you. If you have a good chop saw blade with more teeth, you cut it wrong, cut it again, get it right, and then trim them to length. Little file to get the burrs off, put them together, screw it all together. Missed! Try again. Missed!
What am I missing?
Nothing, I just messed you up that first couple times on purpose. And then what, you get it all in there and then you peel the strip out from behind?
Yeah, and then start walking it from one side to the other. From
This is gonna look so cool.
Yeah. And it's
I
app
just
for your
gave it
phone.
away that.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, pull it your way.
Pull it.
Alright, good there. Now pulling it back my way. Alright, let's flip it.
I scratched the corner.
They do send these rubber bands that cover the joints. I don't know how long they'll last in the sun, and our joints are actually pretty clean. Hey, that works.
Nice.
And there's extra. So, I mean, you could just undo the Allen keys and replace them every couple of years if you really wanted to. That's pretty slick. Alright, we had to undo one. Their instructions say, what was it, Jonathan, again? It was 5/8?
5/8 of an inch.
So, I'll show you what we're doing as we're installing them. But these little things on this one piece of railing here, and where it stops and starts on a corner, you have these little things you crimp on there and then you bend it out. You basically feed it into here and then you let it spring out and it locks it in place, right? Through the hole, it's locked in place like so. Well, we got it wrong and there isn't any extras. So we went to the hardware store, we got some little things we have to make our own, and now we got to trim this off of there.
There's another set of pliers if that'll make it easier.
There we go. And one more to do to fix our screw up here. But I'll take you through the whole process. Let's go do a full one over here that doesn't have one of these clips on it. I like to think we're pretty clever guys, and we did find that there was some things that were a little like, took a little bit for us to catch on to, and especially when the instructions said 5/8, and really it should be more like 1.25 inches, definitely 1.25 inches all the way. Every time that we went, you know, and guessed at something lower than that, we did 1 inch, and that's what ended up with this. So let me show you right from the top. So you got your cable, and this is what we've done with all the other ones so far. Go through the center here, come back to over this way. I'm gonna slip 2 washers on. Washer face, metal face to metal face, the sticky side's out. I'm gonna slip my bolt end onto the end of here, and I have my nut end which goes in here. The two of these, as they work together, is your tensioner. I put it in the crimper. Now you gotta make sure you get this all the way in to there. Get it in your crimper, and I keep it all the way back towards the threads right there. Get it started. Once it's started, you can put some more pressure on it until you see these teeth meet together. Loosen it up. The less you loosen it up, the better, so you don't have to crank it back down again. You can do it more one-handed. And then go through your railing at the end here, and you can see I tighten it onto there, put my nut end on, and I'm just gonna halfway thread it on. That gives me a whole bunch of tensioning to work with. Slip it in, and you can see it sticking out a little bit here by about 1/8 of an inch. Work your way down. Over here, we take our framing square, and you're gonna find 1.25 inches right there. And I'm just gonna pinch it at 1.25 inches and cut it at 1.25 inches. Got our washers. Put 2 washers on. Slide them on there, facing each other. The stickies are out. The washers are just, as you can see, we haven't done any of them yet. The washers are so when you're done, you peel the sticky back off and it slide it, and it just looks a little cleaner when the washers are in the center of the hole, and it makes it look a little nicer. It's just an aesthetic thing. Tighten your nut on. On these things here, you can see there's a little filed edge on both sides. So this tool is going to slide down your cable, and it's going to lock in there. And that holds it in still while you tighten it with the Allen key. So from this end, I slide that one in and tighten her up. Then it's just a matter of peeling your stickers and going back through and tweaking them all until they're all just playing the same note, G flat. A slap in the bass, man.
What is that? You sound like a leprechaun.
Doesn't sound reggae?
No.
Slap the bass.
All right, there it is.
As I'm looking at the edit, I'm wondering if we got the instructions wrong and I threw them under the bus by saying 5/8 doesn't work, and maybe we just measured from the other side and we got it right after figuring it out the hard way. So if you follow what we did here with 1 1/4 inches, it works, but it does look like if you were to measure from 5/8 from the other side, it would work just as well.
All tensioned up. Now we just gotta pull the little stickers and slide those into place, each one. That's nice. Cuts with a 10 snips, real easy. Just peel off your stuff. Snap it in place. There we go. It is all done. Whew. Get me out of the sun. This Maine boys, we are not good with the sun. It's done. It's done. There it is in all of its glory. Beautiful new railing. The reason I like this one specifically with the cables is I'll be able to see all my little flowers. I'll have some rosemary, some thyme, some basil, some sage coming up there. So when I'm doing my little catch and cooks out here in my grilling area, just reach over the railing or through the railing and snip off a little piece of something savory to pull up and chop up and incorporate in my grilling, which we're gonna do in a minute. Let's go to the evening when we can see the lights.
Special thanks to Muzata for sponsoring this video and making my porch so much cooler. Check out that link in the description below and use the code Zachary6 to get 6% off your railings. Have them design up a set for you. There's all kinds of different options out there to match your porch. I think if I had to do it over again, I might have gone to this side-mounted setup so I'd have a little more porch area. But I am so loving this. We've been out there grilling on it. You can see that on my channel, Fowler's Makery and Mischief, where we did a catch and cook deep sea Maine fishing adventure. That's also linked in the description below. Just loving our porch area and spending time with friends on it. It's really changed the backyard and wanting to spend the time out there and enjoying it. So check them out, linked in the description below, and up your porch game with a Muzata railing set.